that our churches need to teach more who we are in Christ, our identity in Christ, the allegiance first to the kingdom. And the way I like to think about it is that I'm like a double agent, 007. You know, my primary allegiance is to the kingdom, and I have been placed in a black body on an assignment so that I can reach certain kinds of people. My blackness, my American heritage, all is a gift of God, a starting point for me to fulfill my calling and my destiny. But my highest allegiance should be to the God of glory and his unique assignment on my life. If that insight is not at the very heart of who I am, I'm going to begin to relate to the world only in terms of blackness or brownness or whiteness, and I'll live beneath my privilege. It is central to the gospel. Remember that in Genesis chapter 2, God says of man that he can do anything he wants to. He needs to work in the garden, but not to eat of the tree of good and evil. Then he says, it is not good for man to be alone, and I will give him a helper. And so even though we were created to have relationship with God primarily, there's a place for work and there's a need for relationship. In the New Testament, St. John 17, which he referenced, tells us that Jesus believes that we will not be complete without relationships with other believers in Christ. And so I think we really have this call to be one, to break down the walls, to live out our values that supersede everything else. I was today at a rally in Charlotte. A black pastor from the area stood up and made the comment before I spoke. He said, I am a black man who identifies first as a Christian and then as an African American, and then he began to go into his comments. And I thought that was very telling. I think that the kingdom identity issue is going to be the thing that brings us together. So I think we've got to work at how do we have that kind of identity, how do we build relationships, and then how do we create structures in the culture that address systemic cultural boundaries and problems.